Why yes, I did make this intro. Thank you for noticing. It sucks. Fuck you. Commentary is an interesting genre type on YouTube for several reasons. For one, it's one of the, if not the, only content types that is focused around YouTube and things that are going on the platform. For two, it seems to have an interesting community connection that's not really seen anywhere else on the platform. But before we get into all that, let me distinguish what I mean when I say commentary, because it is a pretty vague term that can be applied to most of everything that's on YouTube if taken at face value. But for this video, when I refer to commentary, I'm referring to the commentary community, which to me encompasses a channel whose main purpose is to discuss events or people on YouTube. So to make a distinction here, Luna is technically a commentary channel, but he's not necessarily part of the commentary community because the majority of his content talks about things that don't have anything to do with YouTube. At least that's what I personally view as being the criteria for the commentary community. Now, when you're looking at the actual content of a commentary channel, I think videos generally fall into three specific categories. Videos discussing another person's specific video, videos discussing another person's overall channel or character, or videos discussing a situation that's going on YouTube. For examples of each, Leafy generally makes videos that are making fun of another person's video, Elvis the Alien generally makes videos that are making fun of another person's channel, and I'm Alex generally makes videos that are discussing the current goings-on of YouTube. And personally, I think that each of these types of videos falls within the lines of the commentary community. As for how you go about these videos, I could go in depth with what I personally think makes a good commentary video, but it's pretty subjective, so I'll try to keep it brief here. You can pretty much take three approaches: comedic, serious, or a blend of the two. Typically, it seems like you're going to want to go with the blend of the two, that way you can keep the video interesting. If you go too comedic, then you lose the reason that you're making the video in the first place, if you even had one. And if you go too serious, then you struggle to hold a very big audience for very long because it's less entertaining. So most of the time, depending on the topic, going in with a point and cracking jokes along the way is the best way to relay your message, in my opinion. Now that being said, there is one thing that I want to mention about some commentary channels and their approach to comedy. I'm going to use Elvis the Alien's video about the report of the week here as an example, because I just recently watched it and I kind of had an issue with it.
And no sort of aquatic fecal matter either.
It's water! What is there to compare? You have to be a vampire.
So in this clip, you saw the report of the week guy act awkwardly, and then Elvis kind of gave a little quip. And the question that I have with this is, are you being entertained by what Elvis has to say about the video, or are you being entertained by how strange the video he's watching actually is? And maybe it's just me personally, but I think I was more entertained by how strange the report of the week guy was, because majority of the video, all Elvis had to say on the matter is, this guy dresses like a vampire and he's weird. But that's just my opinion, and this video was made 5 months ago. But another person that I often had this question about was Leafy. Leafy watches mainly cringy videos giving about the same type of commentary on each of them. And personally, when I used to watch him at the height of his popularity, my thought was always, am I enjoying this for his commentary or just the video that he's watching? Now, you can argue for or against it. Personally, I feel like I was watching it just to see how ridiculous the video he was going to watch was, but maybe you genuinely thought that his input on the video was enjoyable. But basically, my point all boils down to, does the commentary differentiate itself enough from the original source to justify your commentary? You can debate it, but in all honesty, it doesn't really matter as long as you fall within fair use. Next, let's talk about what's probably the most interesting thing about the commentary community, that being the actual community and the relationship between commentators. For this, we're going to be looking at two big occurrences within the community, those being the Leafy is here exposed situation and the Zaptai exposed situation. Now, these two situations are similar in that both Leafy is here and Zaptai were prominent members in the commentary community. Obviously, Leafy is here was bigger, but still, they were both friendly with other commentators and both had connections to similar people in the community. The difference was, when Leafy was exposed by Hey Watch Your Mouth, everyone bandwagoned to kick his ass on that subject, even though Hoodie provided no proof of his interactions, nor were his claims that bad. Hoodie felt underappreciated for his work, Leafy backstabbed Keemstar, and Leafy tried to get people to make videos on H3H3. None of these things are good things for someone to do, but comparatively, when you look at the claims against Zaptai, Leafy might as well have a fucking halo over his flat bill. So why then did the commentary community bandwagon against Leafy based on the words of Hey Watch Your Mouth, and not against Zaptai based on the words of Hot Wet Soup? Well, there's a multitude of different reasons, like Leafy was already in dire straits after the iDubbbz content cop, Zaptai's content is much better and he's much more respected, the claims were more damning to Zaptai so they required more proof, and there were already plenty of people who just didn't like Leafy. Now, while you may be able to make the argument of different people, different situation, I don't think that it's really a very strong one. Some people can get away with a claim like it hits too close to home. Someone like I'm Alex, who made a video about Leafy when presumably he didn't really know him, can get away with saying it hits too close to home to make a similar video against Zaptai because, as he pounded in our heads during the whole Hot Wet Soup podcast, they were best friends. But for anyone saying that they shouldn't have made this podcast, it was a backstab. That's a blatant double standard if you're someone who supported Hoodie for making his Leafy video. Leafy manipulated a few people to lighten his workload and hurt one person, Keemstar. And yeah, it was a huge dick move to do those things. But Zaptai manipulated people into giving him money, used his YouTube fame to get girls, some of which were underage and sent him lewd pictures, and sat by reportedly uncaring when a girl he had dated for, I think it was 4 months, attempted suicide. You tell me which one deserves more hate. I mean, I thought it was kind of obvious, but maybe I'm missing something. And yeah, was the podcast poorly made? Of course it was. Of course they should have had more focus dealing with such subject matter, and focus less on pushing the label of sociopath, but that doesn't change the fact that Zaptai did some pretty fucked up shit. But how does this relate back? Well, it relates back to the message of the narrative that you're being pushed, and how it can be distorted through bandwagoning. During the Leafy situation, the entire commentary community was on board that Leafy isn't a good person. It was strong in that the narrative was nearly always that Leafy's a dick and his content is bad. Pretty simple. However, when you look at the Zaptai situation, the narrative is so jumbled between opposing sides of the argument. People try to stick up for Zaptai and people trying to condemn Zaptai. And out of that, you get two very differing opinions, and when taken to the extremes, you get Zaptai as a pedophile or Zaptai did nothing wrong, neither of which are correct. And things like this can really divide the commentary community when these things aren't handled civilly, and it can make commentary quite volatile as a genre. Anyways, that's the video, guys. Like it, don't like it, let me know. This video is kind of the successor to my YouTube issues series that I had, and it's just some thoughts that I had on the commentary community at the moment. I'm obviously in the commentary community according to my definition of what I consider it to be, and I enjoy being a commentator, but it can be a volatile genre of content, especially when the topic up for discussion deals with someone that's in the same community. But anyways, a few things before I let you go here. First, I'd like to thank I'm a Piece of Shit for my new channel graphic. For some reason, he wasn't a fan of mine. I have no idea why. I thought it was excellent personally. But I suppose his is a bit better. I suppose. Anyways, thanks to him. Check him out in the description below if you have a bit of time. Next is about the channel hitting 1K, and thanks to everyone who subscribed. The channel is definitely doing very well, and it's been going up really quickly. Much more quickly than I ever anticipated, so thanks everyone. And I do want to do a 1K special. I have 4 ideas, and I'm going to post a poll on Twitter, and you guys can choose from them. Whichever one wins is the one that I'm going to do. If you're interested in that, the ideas are, number 1, a Q&A. Pretty self-explanatory. If that wins, I'll probably do the Q&A plus whatever the runner-up to the poll turns out to be, because Q&As are obviously pretty easy. Number 2 is a commentary on the movie Mega Shark vs. Crocosaurus. I've never seen that movie, but I do own it. It had a little cameo in my Toddy Smithy video if you saw that, so if that wins, I'll probably just mock that movie a little bit. Number 3 is a history lesson on the Bear v Shark War. Probably be done in the style of my earlier videos where I was doing pictures and then I'd kind of narrate it, but it's kind of a callback to my first video if you saw that. And finally, number 4 is a creepypasta. Don't ask me why a creepypasta. I can't write overly well, and it doesn't really fit my channel in any way, but I am going to write one and put it up on Halloween, which is way down the line. But if you guys pick that, I guess I'll get a little bit practice in, because I can't really think of a 4th idea at the moment. But yeah, if you guys go to Twitter, the link is in the description below, and I should have a poll up there at the time that you're watching this. But don't feel the need to follow me because I don't really tweet anything besides my accomplishments in video games and about my new videos. But if you want to, it is there. Anyways, thanks again for 1K subs, and Shark Pride for life, bro.